Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Work Should Feel Good, the show where your career growth meets your real life. I'm your host, Diana Alt, and I'm really excited to bring my youngest guest ever, Eden Oates, and I to talk about how to align the way you show up on the outside with the credibility you already earned on the inside. If you're into that kind of thing, stick around, follow, hit all the buttons, drop a review, whatever you want to do. Eden is the founder of Exclusively Eden, where she helps business owners and professionals align their visual presence and the authority that they've already earned so that everybody else can know that they've earned it too. Her work, though, really isn't about just fashion and just clothes. It's about psychology, communication, and making sure that your outside and your inside match in a way that feels like you. Eden, welcome to the party. How you doing?
Thank you for having me on. I'm doing awesome.
Uh,
Very fabulous day. It's raining.
you guys are raining?
It's raining over here in Franklin. Yes.
Harder than the hinges of Hades over here in Kansas City, but
Oof.
we've had
Yeah.
we've had plenty of rain though. It's been kind of wild. Now, outside matches inside. I just met you in June whenever you spoke at the thing in Nashville, Terry Weaver's event, and you were red everywhere. Like
Yes.
red signature color. And now you and I both joked about how we wear black all the time too. So how
Yeah.
did you choose red as your signature color? Because it's not as popular anymore. Like a lot of people feel like it's too aggressive of a color and that kind of thing. What drew you to red? And when I say red, you guys, if you're listening on audio, you can see. If you're listening on audio, you can't see this, but if you're watching the video, there's like a picture in the back of red heels. We're talking like fire truck red. That is Eden's signature color, which you don't see
Mhm.
so often anymore. What led you to fire engine red?
Fire engine red. Oh my word. I think it's because it's polarizing. I'm like, I needed something to help me channel this bold, confident self that I feel like was always inside of me. It really helped step in and express it. And I was like, if I'm going to help other people, other women and professionals that I work with really own their lane and find something that feels so them, I'm like, I've got to do the same. I've got to go first and do it. So red was just that color, that gateway for me to really just express like who I was as a person, channel exactly what was needed, like a level of command. I do feel like it's a very eye-catching thing. And I love the fact that it is like it's not for everybody. And I think it was kind of like my flag in the ground moment of, hey, this is my brand. It won't this type of styling may not work for every single person. I'm okay with that. Like I don't need to be for
And what
everybody.
put you in red?
100%. Yes. So it's like it worked for me to do that. Like that's how it defined for me. We're going to find what that looks like for you. It may not be red. Like that's
Yeah,
why I'm in black today. It's just like learning what kind of expression is needed in each moment and what strength and like representation depending on the space you're going into. So red was just kind of like the catapulting color that like really sent me into that.
I love that. And I also love that you use the word command because that is a word that so many people are afraid of, especially women. Like most of
Hmm.
the time, we receive a lot of messages that would have us do anything but command because we're supposed to not try to boss people. We're supposed to be soft and helpful and empathetic and all those kinds of things. And I don't think command and empathy are opposites of each other or in any way in conflict. It's just two different stances of a human. So when you spoke of the thing, you had she had a head to toe red suit on. Huh. If I wore a red suit, like I would steal that suit from her.
Hmm.
It looked so good, and you didn't have to say a word, and people were looking at you. So it was in a good way. So
Yeah.
I said in the intro, you're the youngest guest I've had.
Hmm.
And I almost didn't want to talk about that because I didn't want to make people think. Sometimes people think less of somebody that's in their early 20s and has figured out what's going on. I decided they're actually jealous and that from we should learn from someone that has figured out so much early. So I want to hear a little bit about your definitely shorter than my career before you have landed on this. What got you into style and psychology as a way to visually communicate authority? How'd you get
Yeah, I love that question. Just the way that I got here, I mean, genuinely growing in like up in an entrepreneurship home, like always around business. My mom is an incredible coach and has just always like behind closed doors. There was no like work life split. I'm seeing everything from just like a little person of like she's leading team dinners. Like we just have big dream aspirational conversation. That's normal dinner table topic. So I just was around very elite minded thinkers. I mean, she's grown to like the 2% in every company she's been in, and
Mhm.
then stepping out doing her own thing with
And
executive coaching.
for reference, she was in direct marketing for a long time, right?
Yes, she was in that. Yes, built to the top of those two companies, and then being able to step out and now coach and consult for female founders and executives. It's such a different thing of being exposed to that from such a young age because it was my normal, and I do think it like helped me think really big and just kind of going back to like I don't actually want to play small, and I did. So interesting stepping into world and just growing up in schools and then like everything I did I wanted to be the best, so I never not had that drive. But when it came relationally with people it was like, ooh, I gotta dampen it down, play a little smaller, or else like I'm gonna be too much for people.
Yeah.
And that was something early on that I had to navigate. And genuinely style was so like releasing in that moment to just really step into a whole new way of expressing what I carried, not being too much, okay to like turn some people away that it wasn't for. Like
I
I
used
that's
to
why I
like
love it.
I said this a lot, and I can't claim credit for it. I'm sure I stole it from somewhere because it's kind of a duh thought, but um, the purpose of a brand is not only to attract the right people to, it's also
Yeah.
to repel the wrong people. Not in an exclusive, you're a jerk kind of way, but in a you like we're just trying to make sure you know to go find something else if you don't like big and bold, or if authority is not your priority right now. Oh, I made a poem. Then
There you go.
you're not ready. Like Eden's not the right person for you right now. I think that it's fine, and too many people are afraid to do that a lot. So when you think about all the layers that there is. You learned a lot about authority from
Hmm.
being around your parents who are both entrepreneurs, and you work mostly with women because that like you really marinated in that in the businesses your mom was in. What got you to where you felt really confident about how to marry up the style side of things with what you learned about authority in strong women? Like,
Mm.
did you study fashion? Did you work in it? Like, what were the things that you did to get the clothing and accessories and style side of it dialed in?
Yeah, I think the style side was like a say yes, figure it out for a minute. Like that has like been the motto. My mom was my first client and she like let me try everything on her. She came from a very first like sports background. She knew nothing about makeup. She knew
Is
nothing
white
about
her color?
glam. White is her main signature brand color because it really is the embodiment of like calm in the chaos. And she works with a lot of people in that internal swirl. So that's just kind of her
She was
look and her
with it,
color.
so
Yes, she was on brand for that moment. And yeah, it's fun because I was able to research study. I a lot of myself was just like self-taught and then really getting some mentors more in the stylistic space. I also worked in Nordstrom, which is like the luxury service brand, and was on their stylist team. So just lots of hands-on experience in that sense. But I saw the reason I got more niche to mostly professionals, business owners, women that carry so much level of authority and skill. It just was the difference between it actually being seen and experienced versus like, oh, there's a gap between who you are like wanting to serve and the opportunities you actually should be getting. And I think that was like kind of the wake up call was like just really seeing how much, honestly, if you present and communicate yourself well, those are the people that are getting the opportunities, and just seeing the people that are like underprivileged or under recognized and positioned in those areas not get those opportunities. And it like
it's
really
so
much like angered me. Yes.
I'm like, what?
Mhm.
Come on, you can do this. What do you?
Yeah.
One of the things that I was thinking about coming into this is the first public talk you ever did up on the stage with the slides and the clicker and the dozens of eyeballs on you actually was it the thing. What was going through your mind? Because now you actually are like, okay, I've been helping style women for authority. This is
Hmm.
my first time actually being the authority. What did
Yeah.
that feel like for you, and how did it change what was going through your mind?
It has been an incredible unlock. Like, I
Yeah.
feel so congruent. Like that is one of my biggest values of like, again, inside matching the outside. And also
Mhm.
like I will be a woman of my word. Like I will do what I say I'm going to do. So I have mostly been that behind the scenes player of helping other women step into the face of like visibility, what they're incredibly gifted and skilled at, be fully empowered to do it. So I think it was just so freeing to like have that first person perspective of it, of like, I'm doing it. Like it's my time to do it. And like it's just been such an unlock. And I would say I've met more aligned people, rooms, sales like have just come so much easier genuinely because it's been like this proof of concept of like, yeah, I've helped up into this point, you do it, but like now me doing it just makes it even so much
You're
more
now in I
easier to buy
practice
into.
you're now in I practice what I preach territory.
Yes, 100%.
Because part of this, like, what's really interesting is the degree to which it's not just about, oh, I have a speaking engagement, I want to look nice on the stage. It's a confidence play, right? Everything that
Mhm.
you're doing is a confidence play. So, and being able to say, I've been where you are, I've been making myself look and feel more confident, more authoritative, more in command, more respectable. And then I stepped on the stage and proved whether that's actually what came out of my mouth is a big deal. So
Yeah.
I love that. And also, I think that the Nordstrom personal stylist is the most underrated free service on the planet.
Mhm.
Clothes, not free, but they weren't going to be free anyway. So some
Yeah.
of the best stuff I haven't been to one in a while, and since I met you, I'm like, I need to
Mhm.
the next time I'm going into this lane, there's certain lanes I'm comfortable shopping in and certain lanes I'm not. I'm like, I need
Yeah,
to be
absolutely.
stylist people.
Mhm.
So, the business that you've built though, this is an interesting. So my audience of people that I work with, you've mostly seen me in an entrepreneurial context, but a ton of my clients actually are in corporate.
Yes.
They're very analytical. Many of them work in tech. A lot of them believe strongly in like let's focus on the results, that kind of thing. And so the style aspect of all of this ends up feeling superficial to them. So
Mhm.
have you ever had a client that's kind of reluctantly coming to you for help because they're worried that working on their style, their visual brand, however you want to call it, is superficial and that's not where they should be investing their money, etc.
Yeah, like, it's almost like, "What the heck? Like, am I even
Like,
yeah, why am I doing this?"
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had people come to me at that point. Oh, did you have a certain other part of the
Yeah,
question?
keep
Oh,
talking.
great. Okay, like, I've had some women, especially more in the male-dominated space, come to me and they're like, "I this doesn't even matter." But I feel like the shift was like, I knew it was important because I stopped feeling like me and seeing myself and really wanting to go into a space and feel seen. Like, and I think that was a bigger part of like, okay, it's not even necessarily just about the clothes, it's what they do for you. And shifting to, or like, okay, I'm just kind of a results, I'm logic versus like, how about you actually dress for the result that you want? What is the outcome you're working
Say that
towards?
again. Dress.
Dressing for the result that you want
Okay, I
instead
love
of just
that so
thinking you're gonna do.
I love that so much because there's always, especially like when I started in corporate, I was in tech consulting. I went to client sites. It was the late 90s. Like we were in suits and heels, and we literally still did pantyhose, RIP pantyhose. Um, but it was there was so much emphasis on what ended up feeling at 24 years old, like play acting and
Mhm.
like faking it for people. So it was not about internal and outside matching. It was about these people have a perception. And what was so interesting to me is, you know how when person A can put on a suit that fits them, and person B can put on the same kind of suit that fits them, but person B somehow looks awkward. You know, the thing where it's like, you guys are wearing the same outfit, but you look awkward. All of us that were 24 years old looked awkward in our Navy suits. What
Mm.
is the difference that makes person A look like they belong in that suit and person B look awkward in that suit? And I'm talking about like after you did tailoring and everything like that. What
Yeah.
do you think about
Uh, I think it's essence, like genuinely something being a representation of who you are and feeling like, again, it's the reflection of it. So some of us, it's like the power suit might be your thing. The tailored suit, like that would feel like me. Like that's why I wore a red suit that day. That doesn't work for everybody. It's not like a one size fits all. So person A genuinely are like, okay, that feels like me. Person B, absolutely not. And then I'd also say and also argue that there's levels of we operate in current style stories I'd work on with some of my clients, and you're
Mm.
certainly like wearing a certain insecurity right now or reality that like we've come to so many just different conclusions, like little rules that we've put on ourselves of like, oh, you actually can't dress up and go to Publix, like, and look really put together and nice, or like do that around your house, like just simple little things that like you've taken on as what you need to do, what you need to not do. So I do think there's a lot of it just depends on the intention of what you dress from, and why it would land awkwardly is if someone's like, one, it doesn't actually connect with who you are. Two, then there's might be you're wearing and emphasizing something else. So there might be like a layer of insecurity.
Interesting too, because one of the coolest things about the age that we live in now is that it's never been more flexible for people to dress the way that they want in so many kinds of settings. It's like
Hmm.
I had not been willing to wear the suit in 1999. I literally would have been pretty quick out of a job because they're like, this is the standard that we have. We're not no,
Yeah.
we're not doing something else, but it's a different story now. And I contrast the first few years of my career in corporate with the last few years. In the first few years, we all looked the same. The last few years, we might have had dress codes from from our companies that looked really similar to before, but everybody looked different because we were able to infuse whatever it was that we wanted to be.
Hmm.
Okay, let's talk about let's t- one of the things you talked about at the thing was the importance of the visual, the whole thing of only 70 like 7% of your impression comes out of your mouth. So when we think about the visual cues before someone speaks, the thing that people don't want to matter, what is actually happening? Tell a little bit of the things that you told us on stage at the thing about what are those visual cues? What are people sensing? What are the decisions that they're making before someone opens their mouth?
Yeah, there is so many. So just to recap that statement, so 93% of the impression that we make on anyone, online or in person, whatever space and context that looks like, is non-verbally communicated, and only 7% is down to what your words are, how you actually verbally communicate.
Mhm.
And just some of those cues make up. There are so many studies done of just tying trust and capability down to how you dress, your appearance, the way that you present yourself. And I mean, just even from sales perspectives alone, just the, I'm trying to think of the stat, but like 40%, 40% of the just capability tied to the way someone presents themselves in a setting has gone up versus someone who decides to just like maybe not get out of bed, do their makeup, do whatever, like visually be put more together. People who do show up a bit more polished, put together, not even like in a fake way,
Yeah.
do are perceived much more trustworthy than other people are. And I just, there's so much just introduction, especially with the sea of sameness, with AI, with words taking over, of just finding we've kind of lost a level of differentiation between our voices. And I do think nowadays it's more important than ever to dress in a way that is, again, congruence with the essence of who you are, what you stand for in your brand, what you stand for in your work. I mean, even within a company, without a company. And I mean, because I've worked with executives as well, but it does help introduce and bring in the right people to you, and not lose the attention, like if that makes sense or
Yeah,
whatnot.
it does make sense, and it's also like there has to be flex to read the room. So quick rabbit trail before I
Yeah.
talk about AI. That same job that I had right out of school, I went to another project where we were actually going into a telecommunications factory of all things. And a bunch of us that were like IT systems people were trying to help some people that were working in manufacturing understand like usability problems with their software. So we were literally sitting next to supervisors on the floor in this manufacturing facility. And the first week that we came in, we didn't wear suits. They said, you don't have to wear suits on the manufacturing floor, but you have to wear business casual. And that means this. So it's like khakis and penny loafers for the guys and like that kind of vibe. We got told the last day that, and we all traveled into, we got told on Thursday when we left the plant that if we did not come back in jeans and like button, like a shirt, clothes that looked like the people we were working with, that we should not come back at all because
Wow.
we were dressing in a way that made them feel like we were trying to put ourselves above them.
Mm,
Not to say, some people had a little bit nicer dress shirts to go with their jeans the next week. Some people were a
mhm.
little more casual. But it was very interesting because they're like, you are breaking trust
Yeah.
by following this weird arbitrary dress code that you didn't even have the sense to ask us how we felt about how you
Mhm.
show up in our companies.
Yeah. And I would love to speak to that for a second, just because we've talked about some of the skepticism around image. And I do think it is such a mistrusting topic because it's been so misused and abused, and like people really can manipulate. There's a lot of power in image and how you present yourself. And if it is that powerful without actually operating in integrity, without operating and truly carrying a level of skill and substance and offering certain results, I think 2020, like that whole wave of like online business, if it looked good, it sounded good, you were
Mhm.
making sales. Like that's what was kind of happening in that space. And I just think there was so much mistrust now with it, and like the swing to now we're all kind of just like show up. If it's too put together, then don't trust it. Like, and
Yes.
we're calling that authenticity when that's not even the case. But it's like I would speak to your thing of jeans, of like know your audience. Like who
Yes.
is on the other side of you, who's actually buying from you, what is actually going to resonate and create trust, because it may not really be a power suit, and it may not be like you get to figure out what context that works, that does build this type of connection, because it's like seeing you, it's like on one hand of feeling like this is me and I can walk in so much confidence, and then on the other side this will connect with them.
Yes.
So mhm.
It's what's really funny is most of the time when people feel weird, I think it's because either the way that they're presenting themselves doesn't match their inside, or
Mhm.
don't understand the people that they're presenting themselves to enough. So let's talk about this whole, if it's too perfect, it doesn't work right now. Uh,
Yes.
this is so interesting to me because you don't want to be sloppy. You don't want to be too perfect. You don't want to do fake authenticity. So when you're talking to someone and they're like, I don't even know what the hell to do. Like I have this business and I need to have a personal brand. What what is your guidance? Maybe the right way to do this is to pretend you've got a new client, and what process and conversations are you
Mhm.
having with them to get them on the other side with something that they can walk in confidence. Let's do that.
Yes. Well, a
So
little role play. Okay. Mhm. I think I definitely start with like knowing what industry. So I really get a lot of context there of like, hey, what space are you in? Are you more in the, and what do you charge for your services? Like, are you more in the high ticket space? Are you a little bit more in the digital course? Because that does change from like buying from a friend versus buying truly from a mentor, like an expert in something. It does change the context and how someone would relate to you. Like Jenna Kutcher, absolutely fabulous. I mean, she is mastered just a female personal brand space, the digital selling, because she does treat you like your girl next door and the neighbor, and does visually represent herself in that way. And then you've got like a Leanne Lopez Mosley, who is like rich queen era, and she's selling high ticket, like a $22 offer, and then she's got like 100K. So she's showing up the same though, because she's selling to rich queens and people who want to make money, and high ticket changes how she presents herself in that. And I just think that would be the starting point, is knowing who that audience, that ideal
and I
client
think
is.
there's an interesting way to think about that for people
Mhm.
because there's a lot of people that are doing consulting, and some people are consulting into a C-suite, and some people are consulting like a couple layers down on the food chain. And I think it has a lot to do with what stance do you want to be in when you're working with your client. Because if you're trying to be the expert authority, that's different. If you're trying to be the trusted peer vibe, that is different too. So that's kind of what you're getting at. So it's not just about I charge more than a lot of people that are in my for my career coaching services because I've done it for a long time, but I get trust because I come at it from this empathetic, I got laid off 3 times and I navigated 20 years of corporate. But if I want
Mhm.
to sell consulting, it hits a little bit different. So you need to know the industry. You need to know the price.
Yes.
You need to know
And
how you want to approach in terms
mhm.
or whatever, what else do you need to know? Then what do you
Yeah.
do after you dig into the industry and pricing side?
The industry, it then from there goes into storytelling. Like it's like, who are you? Because I'm like, there's a million people, millions of people doing what you do. How are you going to do it differently? How do you solve what you do differently? And I like, so I want to know the why behind someone because I do think there's so many just little details behind what being able to bring them into your style. I'm like, I honestly work with a lot of athletes, like D1 space, like,
Oh, cool.
and I love for some reason, and then they
Are you
come
working
here at like
with who are
top.
trying to position themselves for NIL deals?
Not necessarily that. My brother is actually in that space, and I have given him plenty of tips, and that's why he's been a Hoka athlete and represented them for a few years now at this point. But just like they came from an athletic background, they brought that in. They're in the business, whatever space they're in. But it's like the athlete doesn't leave them. Like that's such a big part of how they
Yeah.
train, they live daily life. And so I'm like, oh my word, I actually want to so bring that in, like a little touch point in how you visually show up. Like maybe that's sneakers, maybe that's like pushing up your suit sleeves because you're like, I'm going to get down in this process with you, and
Oh,
just little visual ways you can convey that. So that is where I would look for, okay, how can we actually distinguish you? And that's why I love getting to really know who the business owner is, what you do, the why you do it, and then a little bit more about who you are and how you operate. So that's just kind of the encompassing process. So as much as there's like the selling piece, knowing your audience, it is also got to be you
and
too. So keep
you do
balancing it.
all of that stuff, and you haven't even talked about clothes yet. That's
Yeah.
the wildest part. So,
Mm.
when you get to the point where you have a picture of someone, let's say, uh, we'll play with me for a minute because people have listened to me a little bit. And besides, what else is a podcast interview except a little free consulting for everyone? So, um, I'm working in a career and executive space. I'm working with people that are not necessarily like Fortune 500 C-suites, but they do have leadership responsibility. And they basically want someone that's not going to BS them. I work at a price point that isn't low, but it isn't ridiculously high. And I do it because my ethos is that work should feel good, as in the name of the podcast, not like a
Mhm.
long slow march to oblivion. So when you have all that information, and I came out of tech and I work with people in tech because I know how messy that is, then you're kind of at the point, if I understand, at least in a brief exercise on a podcast, where at some point you got to talk about clothes. When do you
Yes.
start actually talking about what the clothes, what the visual brand elements that are going to sit on top
Mhm.
of the body are?
Yeah, I start talking about that really at this point of like, okay, I've got to know outside of you who your brand is. I got to know you. We're at the point where we do get to talk about how do we visually communicate that and bridge that gap. So for you, it'd be like, I mean, just automatically kind of hearing if you're like a no BS kind of industry, you're a little bit more in the tech space, you're working with like just I would honestly like already hear like contrast for you. Like I would show up in a way that's like there's no in between because it's like there's the black and white. So I would really
I'm not
show up with
wearing
like,
sage green.
yeah, you're not wearing muted cones, like you're not indecisive because like some of those things, like there's a level of just like experience that's created with like softer tones, which works so well for people who are like, I need to walk with like some peace or grounded or like wellness. And I've worked with some of those people,
Mhm.
works awesome. But for you, I totally recommend it's like, no, we need to pack a punch because it's like I know you're going to get your people results. And also like there's no wishy-washy with it. Like you're going to say it how it is, do it how it is. And so it's then being able to like then thinking aesthetically, like, do we need to lean a little bit more into the blazer since though that's what like a corporate person or someone who's coming out of corporate would think through.
You know,
Like
I had like numerous DM conversations about
we did. Yes. Oh my word. Yes. And so yeah, it would be like, okay, that would actually speak the language for you and what you like. And then denim, if you're like, okay, we're gonna balance a little bit of the casualness and then like the comfort piece for you, because it's just like the preferences of if you work from home. So I'm considering your lifestyle, what spaces you're showing up in, and where you need to be genuinely on brand. Like, so that's what we would kind of talk through.
nice. What is your take on? Okay, I know you have a signature color and it actually is part of your brand, but
Yeah.
it's really easy for that to get cheesy.
Yes.
And my primary brand color is Kelly green. So
Hmm.
it's not like it's weird if you wear Kelly green every day, like
Yeah.
especially very boldly all the time. So when people have something like that going on, and they've
Mhm.
watched other influences that are like, "Why is this person wearing fuchsia every day? Why is this," what is your guidance to people on how to actually, um, when or whether to incorporate what's become like their color brand for their business, for example? What are your thoughts on that? Because I've had people tell me that, and I've listened to them say it to other people, any day that you're going through life and you're not wearing your company's brand color, you're missing an opportunity. You're not serious. You know, the bullshit that people say bullshit. What do you really think is the right way to think about your style brand, your visual style, your authoritative,
Mhm.
and your logo typography color stuff?
Yeah, I love that you asked me this because this is just part of kind of the ecosystem of a brand. I don't think we're required as people to always be in the energy that's required to wear the color red. Like if we're going to talk about my brand, and then the color of like Kelly Green, like that's a very bold, and you channel something with it. You carry yourself differently. And it actually, I'm like, it works so well, like wearing a red suit on a stage. That's not going to work in every space. Like you've got to change the context to which the room that you're going into and the result that you need to create. So it's like I don't like our businesses like require we're so multifaceted. We have different strengths that we carry, and our businesses require to go into a lot of different spaces, a lot of different contexts, from like the social media space to going into networking rooms to going into delivery to stages. All of those do require different energetic like output in those, and not every single one's going to work for like the color red. Like I'm not going to do that in every space. It's like today
Mhm.
I'm wearing the color black, and unfortunately like the my all my light went away, the natural light, because of thunderstorms, so you can't really see me. But um yeah, it just at different times, depending on how I feel and then the result that I want, I'm going to channel something different. Like there's a level of grounding and just like authoritativeness that I want, and the respectfulness that can come when you wear the color black for me. Like that's just kind of how it is.
Grounding is really, really good because when people say to me, the different things that feel like they're superficial, which could be anything from like, can we make your LinkedIn profile look a little more polished in these ways, to how you're dressing, to how you're introducing yourself to people? Like, because all that, those are the things that I think about when people are presenting. I let you handle the clothes. But I know that I was trying to wear a lot of green for a while because I do legitimately like the color, but it was stressful to find. And you gave me really good words about the energy. I feel the most myself on an average day in black, the most
Yeah,
myself. But sometimes you want to throw something else behind it. And I don't think black is a morbid color. I think black is the best color. So
it's great. I second that.
I find
Yes.
myself, I find myself liking I fell out of love for a minute with my brand colors because I was trying too hard with them.
Hmm.
Wardrobe to be on stage. So that's very interesting stuff.
Yeah, it'll help you, especially with branding, because it's like there's sub colors, there's sub conversations, and then again, like thinking of it as its expression, it's like I cannot show up energetically the same version every single day in certain colors. So that is one thing that I usually do with my clients is like, all right, great, we're gonna not always be in the signature one. What are some of those sub color palettes that we do need to pull on, bring in, so you feel like you can maximize it and you're not like wearing the heck out of like
Yeah.
one thing, you're gonna hate it at that point.
Same thing every day.
Yeah, I'm like, that's exhausting.
Greens never match. You can't.
Oh, yes. Oh
But
my gosh.
so one
Yes.
of the things that you sometimes talk about, I want to kind of get into, we've talked in very positive, you want to feel inside and outside the same thing. Your clothes are communicating just as more than your mouth is communicating, all of that kind of stuff. Let's talk about mistakes because some people learn that better. What are some of the
Mhm.
ways that people create friction for themselves with how they're showing up in a room? And
Mhm.
this can be related to clothes or it can be something else. I know you talked a bit. I don't know if swagger was the word you used, but you were effectively talking about swagger
Strut.
on stage.
Yes.
Right, that's what it was. So,
Mhm.
what are some of the ways that people are inadvertently creating friction for themselves before they open their mouths? Uh,
Yeah.
and how do you help with that?
Yes. So one of the things that I talked about on the stage was, and we just reference to it, strut or swagger, depending on male or female, whatever you want to say. But it's how you non-verbally presence yourself and how you carry your body, like what your hands and your shoulders, your hand, like eyes, feet, all of those things communicate in what it postures. So it's not like, hey, you get a gold star for really good, just perfectly polished, put togetherness, you're stiff. Like it's more so shifting to what result is there anything that's getting in the way? If this is 93% of my communication, what is it? Is it helping to effectively make that 7% far more like better than it could be, carry
Mhm.
further, land the way it needs to, or is it detracting and distracting from it? So I think there's a lot of just like we all have quirks as people and we have little things that can are just part of us or we do to create a level of safety for ourselves or offload for comfort, like just little things. It's like I tend to want to like cover my mouth and like it's a protective thing at times that I have to notice and settle, or I want to be super expressive with my hands when I get overly excited. So just all little things like that. Just having a level of self-control truly tied to what result I want to cause and create with somebody. And can you settle like the level of just the way you contribute to creating that result? Because you can't control someone on the other side, but you absolutely can bridge that gap. So that was be the first place I start is like the way you carry your body. And then stylistically, it's like what are you saying? What do you say that you do? I don't feel like there's a bad way of dressing up, like in a way that is like creates conversation starters. And I don't think not everybody, especially if you're going into networking rooms and spaces, I don't think it's a bad thing to be a little bit more put together. Like I think you can do it in a way that's so authentic, but I also think there's a lot of people that just dilute their level of authority when they show up less than credible or believable. Like it wouldn't make sense for it's like, oh, you said you do this, and yet your appearance is speaking something very differently if you're
Mhm.
just showing up in flip flops and sweatpants. Or like to me, like that there might be a gap between some of that.
Mhm.
And it's just kind of removing the friction there of visually how you're presenting yourself.
It's really interesting too. One of the things, one of the one of the best situations I ever had, it was, I don't know, 2009. It's been a minute, actually. I got old. I was interviewing for a job that I really wanted, and it was with a tech company. It was smaller, it was cool, and I was working at a place that was definitely not cool. And they had effectively no dress code. It was like, be an adult, dress appropriately. And when I went to visit the offices, like, well, actually, back up. When I was going to go in for in person interviews, which were a thing in 2009, so I
Yes.
didn't know how to think about it. And the recruiter told me everything. It was like, okay, this is the deal of the company. This is the stage the company is at. The dress code is officially you can be casual. Like you couldn't wear like shorts and flip flops, but it was not much more than that. But she said, here's the thing, you're interviewing in product management. You want to dress like the product managers because each of the different departments had a style that they had developed within reason. So if you're a software engineer, those guys were the most casual. The people that were in enterprise sales executive roles had the suit, they were wearing suits even though it was casual. And then the people that were in product management and marketing were kind of in the middle. So she said, if you were applying for a development job, I would say you could wear X and Y, but you have to level it up because you're applying for a product management job and it's
Mhm.
going to be friction if you show up too casual. But you do not want to dress like the sales executive because that's too much when you walk into that room. So, asking a lot of questions about the room they are walking into can be very interesting and very important to do. So,
Yeah,
I love that.
I love that.
What is something? One of the things, the superficiality thing, I'm convinced is people not wanting to create a persona.
I agree.
Want to feel like themselves. So, do you have any stories of this could be yourself while you're figuring out your own style, or it could be
Mhm.
a client friend? Do you have any stories of someone where you didn't get it quite right at first? You were trying to take everything and develop a style for them, and it wasn't working because it somehow felt fake. And what were those changes that you made to go from this feels like play acting into this feels like me. What's that process
Yeah.
like?
I think it's actually been more me that I've gotten it off
Oh,
of,
good.
like,
I wanna
and
hear it.
failed here, and I do think it was when I shifted, like, I was like, "I you know what? I'm determined to become a more bold, outspoken person," because I was extremely shy. I grew up with, like, panic attacks, like, it was a very crucial time, a pivotal year for me during COVID, and I was like, "I'm coming out of this thing like a totally new person," and the way that I tried doing that was dressing like loud prints, bold patterns, like in your face stuff. Like it was very extra, very maximalist. But that's what I thought I needed to do in order to channel this version.
Yeah.
But I do think it was still fake because internally I wasn't quite that person yet. Like it's one of those things that does take reps. And also like that's not me. Like I love bold now. I've just kind of learned and defined and refined the way that that looks for me. I'm not dressing in like striped here and then like mixing prints. Like I was all over the place. I was just trying it all. And
I
so
mean,
I do think it was
it's
like
a
the
real thing you can do.
pendulum swing. Yes.
It's a real thing you can do, and thrift shops are good to help you with that. Like, if you're trying
Yeah.
to wanna not be. But that's very interesting. What made you finally click in? Because I think you are bold with your
Hmm.
and you're gonna want to follow her on like the Instagram and stuff because I've actually learned some things just by following how she does her style in what I do and don't feel comfortable with in my style. But what was like was there a moment or a thing that you tried on or did for a week or two or a few
Yeah.
made your brain go, I found it? Because the way I think about
Hmm.
you being bold is you look polished at all times, and there's one thing where you go, damn, girl, damn. How'd you figure that out?
I think it was balance. I think from the shift, it was like I realized what wasn't working because of the results, like how one I felt and then how other people were experiencing me. So I think when I still got so much feedback around how intimidating I felt, or and not in a bad way, like I was still pushing people away, but like it wasn't creating the result of like, you know what, I'm going into spaces, I'm going to be memorable. And it wasn't quite hitting that mark for me, if that makes
You want to
sense. So
be
the
memorable
feedback.
in the right way.
Yeah, 100%, and I wanna invite people into that process with me, to be with me, to create, like a lot of that place where I learned it was, like, the training ground of high school, so I did get some of that aspect, but then also, like, when I was acquiring more clients, I was still turning people away, and I was like, "Okay, what is it in me that is repelling?" And not in a good way. Like, so it was the feedback that initially came back, but I do feel like it was the balance and getting much more settled in how I package that result. And like, oh, you know what? I've defined a bold person and needing to look this way and needing to present themselves this way. And that's what it does for them. And I just got to figure out what that definition looked like for me.
It's really interesting because our friend Mike Brennan, that also
Yes.
look at the thing, he literally is like the prince. Like this guy will go and design a print and make a Hawaiian shirt out of it, and it'll
Yeah.
be freaking amazing, and he can wear it. Whereas somebody else that might feel like they're hiding, it feels like Mike. And so for
Hmm.
me, that's something I'm always conscious of because I feel like I sell my heart, not my I'm not selling my clothes, I'm selling my heart. And I don't want barriers between people understanding that. I think that's why I like black. I may have just figured that out. It's very cool.
There
So,
you go.
another hesitation people have about working, especially, a lot of people that would object to hiring someone like what you're doing because of the superficial thing. They'll be like, I figured out my brand. But
Hmm.
again, still having that head trash about fashion and clothing being superficial. Um, there's also the budget thing. Like some people are like, hey, I'm building this business, or, I was laid off for 6 months and I just took this senior director job and I only have so much to put into this. What are some things people can do without spending a dime that can make that inside and outside look better and more congruous? What are some of the
Yeah.
things you can do without spending a single penny?
Yeah, I really just think it is how you start your day. I live by the philosophy of like how you are in anything is how you are in everything. So I do think it's like have a routine. Like get
Okay.
dressed, put on what right now you might feel the best in, like, and do your work, even if that is from working from home. It might be like, be a bit more intentional, like, put your jewelry on, put your accessories, like, do your hair, like, or even cut it in a way that you do it does intentionally make you want to style it, because it would force you to, like, I need to get ready, like,
Yeah.
just something that ties it to a result, because there are so, again, just so many studies around the capability and just what it does for your brain to be able to say, you know what, I got ready for me, I'm so ready to, like, do what I need to do out in the world now. Like, you will show up differently. That's part of the dressing for the result that you want. So I do think it's just start with being intentional with what you do have. And then shifting to some of those free things. Like, there's a lot of great resources. I do think with like AI, I do think with social media, you can take so much inspiration. The problem with that is, like, you may not find you always in that look. You can, there's a process of self discovery with it, but you may not be able to find like what makes you distinct in it and what would actually feel like you versus like copying somebody else.
Yeah, I get it.
Mhm.
Two things come up for me on that. Number one, um, during the pandemic or like the beginning, 2020, like when most of the people I work with were definitely at home because we're like laptop class people. I had a couple of clients that were experiencing severe like cabin fever, depression, whatever you want to call it, including a client of mine who was extremely extroverted. Her
Mm.
husband was an introvert that had always worked at home as a software engineer, and she had always gone to the office. And she was like an election clerk and took like a job in a craft store just to get out of the house whenever that stuff could reopen. But she made herself a couple rules. One of which is that she had to put on pants with a zipper whenever she was home. She had to put on pants with a zipper, and it changed everything because she didn't wear makeup. Her hair like would air dry these beautiful curls. I'm so jealous of her actually for that. But she picked pants with a zipper as
Mhm.
her thing that was, I'm gonna feel better about this. And I picked that I was gonna figure out how to do my hair finally because my hair went curly when I was in my late 30s. And I'm like, I don't know what this is or what to do with it, but I figured it out during the pandemic. That's a very cool thing. Um,
Awesome.
and, and then the other thing I'll say is I did a few months where I got style boxes. So I did Daily Look, I did Wannable, didn't love Wannable, but I did like 5 or 6 of them. Found jeans that I liked better and some other stuff. And I found myself liking my clothes enough to wear them at home by myself.
Yeah.
I had just felt like, ugh, I don't like anything. This doesn't feel good. I don't, you know, I don't want to wear this stuff because
Mhm.
I had just been buying clothes as something to cover my body. And I finally was like, let's let somebody else pick something cute because clearly I am not hitting the mark. So
Mhm.
very good.
Yeah, I think one more practical thing too is genuinely like let go of a couple of pieces a day that you know you hate, or
Mm,
like maybe that you're holding on out of scarcity, because then you will genuinely make space for something new. Like, that is one just practical something, because you're giving yourself like brain space, head space. Like, it's so not good to have clutter anywhere, especially if you know it's not serving you. Like, why would you hold on to a blouse of like that you have memories around, or you know doesn't work for your body, because just as, especially as women, like, you evolve and you change, and we change shapes, like, and have different sizes, different things like that, and it doesn't always serve in the way that you need it to. So it's like, let go of a couple of things, make space for it.
yeah. I let go of things that are more than a size off.
Yeah, it's
Like, maybe,
great.
well, if you had size 12 jeans and you are now a size 18, by the time you get back in that size 12, they're out of style anyway. So, like, reward yourself with cute new jeans. That's been my philosophy.
And you're a new person, like, the journey of like going like and travel, I'm like, that may not even be that version of you anymore, so it's like, just get rid of it.
I found one of my favorite outfits though. This could be a fun thing for you to play with building if you haven't
Okay.
already done so.
Yeah.
Um, I made I started using ChatGPT to help me plan packing because
Yes.
I had a couple of trips that I went on that were like I could go to the bigger suitcase, but I don't want to because I had to fly Delta and I have to pay for that bag, unlike Southwest. So I worked and just planned packing and outfits, and two of my favorite outfits that I wear now, I never would have put together. So if you have stuff in the closet that you like, but you feel like uninspired by everything, or you just want to get your trip into a carry-on bag instead of bringing too many things. Ask your favorite LLM of choice what you should wear together. It had me wearing this really cool, like dark purple plumish dress with Kelly green shoes. That,
Yeah.
and
Color theory.
I would never put
Mhm.
them together. So, what is one visual change? So we talked about the thing you can do without spending any money. What is a thing that does relate to a piece of clothing or an accessory or something that you feel like has an outsized um, im- impact on how someone is perceived? Like, is it tailoring? Is it, leveling? Like, go buy the blazers, Diana. Like, go do
Mhm.
finally get that. What do you are some of the things you've seen that really help the women you work with have more impact to their authority and their appearance and how they carry themselves than they would expect?
Yeah, most of the women that I work with, like, are a lot of them have been like a power suit kind of person. They just don't know how to do it differently from corporate to now. So
Got-
it's, I would say, fit and tailoring go a long way. You can find some better suits from like Express. You can go to Ritzia. Those are better price points for instead of getting something customly tailored. But I would start at that point because you can split things up and like make things work. You can maximize it. There's just so much versatility that can come from a set, especially if you buy a three-piece thing, a three-piece suit. And I do would start with good quality basics because I went wrong on that and building for like pop personality go
Mm,
getter things that were so
beautiful
unique.
stuff. Yeah.
Yes, I went for things that were unique and then I created like I bought one-off pieces and I bought a shirt for an outfit, like one pair of pants versus really thinking of a like of my closet like an ecosystem and how can I maximize and combine and really create a system that makes it so easy. Like I genuinely had such a hard time getting dressed whenever I was shopping just for one-off things. So
Yeah.
I would start with quality and shape.
I've been staring at my closet and how little of it I wear and trying to figure out why. And some of it was sizes up and down, but some of it is just like what you said earlier about I'm not that person anymore. Like I don't
Yeah.
need to do that because I'm not that person anymore.
Mhm.
The thing I would say um, I'm figuring out is we should not underestimate the value of structure. And that's where I've been going to, the blazer journey for me is hard because I don't want it to be uncomfortable, but I want it to have enough structure that it looks good. So,
Mhm.
but if you look at structure, which can be buying a boxier blazer because the color's great and bringing the waist in, that can sometimes do what you need to do. But that's cool.
Mhm.
I think I like clothes more than I want to like clothes, but I get frustrated by them because I don't always know what to do.
Absolutely.
So,
I think you and a lot of other people.
yeah, this is why I was so excited to talk to you. So, when
Mhm.
you think about somebody's going to walk into work on Monday morning, it's a Friday when we're recording this. Somebody's going to walk into work on Monday morning or tomorrow morning, whatever, and they want something more for themselves. What is one thing that they can do walking into the office or walking into the meeting with a potential client that will immediately change how they're perceived?
Hmm. Find something. I would start with like if you've got in your closet, find one thing that changes how you energetically presence yourself. Because it's like I can outwardly, as an expert or like anyone, like you can go to a Nordstrom stylist, you can do so many free options or and have someone else put something on you. But if you energetically don't have a connect to it, like you do not connect and change the way that you carry yourself, it will land flat. It will land off.
Okay.
So if
So
it's like,
I'm
you
gonna
know
say
what?
a lot of people are a little less woo that listen to the show. I like to say I'm woo adjacent because I do in fact have some crystals on my desk, but I don't know what any of them do. If you have a piece that you're just like, I kind of feel it, like I'm feeling myself,
Yes.
wear that.
Yes.
That's what I tell
100%.
people in job interviews. This may be another way to close this out. And then I'm going to go into my favorite question I ask everybody before we close.
Great.
Um, that piece that makes you feel like yourself, figure out how to work it in.
Mhm.
Even if it's weird. If it's too weird, you might want to read the room a little bit. The thing I
Yeah.
used to tell people when they asked, "What should I wear to the interview?" I get that question a lot, just like that recruiter I talked about before. I
Mhm.
tell people that no matter what, they have to feel comfortable in what they're wearing to the interview. So if their suit makes them feel uncomfortable, the solution isn't to wear sweatshirt and jeans. It's to figure out what's wrong with the suit that's making them feel uncomfortable and fix that. That's how I look at it. So,
Yeah, I think that's great advice.
so
Yeah.
what outfit right now is making you feel the most confident and comfortable?
Ooh, what I've been liking? It's summer. I've been really liking skirts. I mean, I love a suited skirt and I love a little kitten heel because I've come from an athletic background, rolled my ankles too many times, so I always wear like
I can't even.
1 to 3 inch range.
What
I
was your
just
sport?
can't do it.
What
I
was your
play basketball. I was gonna play that in college and then shifted transition to full blown into business and
nice?
yeah, such a big thing, but it does still impact like just life stuff in my feet and
You think like an athlete. It takes a long time to
yes,
grow, I think.
100%. And my feet sadly haven't recovered, so I have to wear
Mm.
low heels. But I always feel like a boss when I do
I
it.
have, like, floppy ankles. I've had chiropractors be like, "What did you do to yourself? Why did your foot go like that?" So, my last question before we go is one I ask everybody, and I'm excited to ask you because most people could be your parent that are on the show, and that is, what is the worst career advice you have ever received?
Ooh, worst career advice. Just work harder.
Oh, why is it dumb? I agree with you, but why is it?
Oh my word, it doesn't work. It's like genuinely work smarter and like, and I feel like the way that that is impacted and come from life is people who I don't like the fruit of their life. You have to white knuckle and hold on to everything. And again, the way that you are like energetically presencing yourself with something, carry and walk into certain spaces does create the outcome. So I'm like, if you take something by force, you have to keep it by force. So I'm like, the way that I have built my business, the way I've gone into relationships, that is just like what I've had to learn and shift out of. Like, it's not just about working harder.
I just got chills when you said that.
Thank my mom. I mean, she's literally like made me her mini me. Yes.
Okay, I appreciate
Uh-huh.
it. It's been great to have you on the show. This
Thank you
is
for
so
having
different
me.
than what I usually talk about on the show, which is why I was like, I must have her on. Hopefully somebody will get some inspiration so they can show up a little bit more confident and credible
Hmm.
at the office. So, all right, that's
Absolutely.
everybody. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next time on Work Should Feel Good.